now.
Goodbye, Marcus.
Wait!
Hello, and welcome back to CineBolt. It's wild to think we're already looking ahead to 2025, and in today's video, we're diving deep into 7 amazing TV shows that are generating some serious buzz for 2025, which are also worth adding to your watch list. We've got everything from historical dramas, dystopian thrillers, gritty westerns, and of course, our beloved fantasy epics. These shows are not your typical popcorn flicks, because along with a lot of depth and complexity, they aren't shying away from tackling some pretty big themes. So without any further ado, let's kick things off with the first series on our list. Starting at number 7, we have House of David. This is a reimagining of the biblical story of King David set in 1000 BC Israel. You know, the whole shepherd to king battles with the Philistines kind of thing, which makes sense since it's going for a more epic cinematic feel. And it sounds like they're really leaning into the themes of destiny, faith, and leadership. I mean, David's story has been told and retold for centuries, but it continues to resonate because it speaks to these universal human experiences. It also sounds like they're not shying away from the political intrigue and violence either, which is important because, let's be honest, the Bible can be pretty brutal. Moving on to number 6, we have Paradise. This is a political thriller series which takes us into a very different kind of world. Imagine a massive underground survival city where the president is murdered. A Secret Service agent, Xavier Collins, has to solve the case, but it's clear that there are more secrets lurking beneath the surface. This one's giving me some serious dystopian vibes. We talking bunkers, rations, and strict societal rules? It does sound like that kind of controlled environment. So it'll be interesting to see how they play with those themes of confinement and surveillance, especially in the context of a murder mystery. Now, for number 5, we have something familiar, The Wheel of Time, Season 3. Our boy Rand al'Thor is now officially the Dragon Reborn, but as you can imagine, things aren't exactly smooth sailing. This season is diving deeper into the world of Robert Jordan's novels, bringing in more of the Forsaken, those powerful beings who serve the Dark One. It sounds like there's going to be a lot of action, but also a lot of political maneuvering within the Aes Sedai. And let's not forget Rand's complicated relationship with Lanfear, which was a major highlight of the last season, which will definitely add a layer of personal drama to the larger epic battles. Switching gears completely, we come to number 4, American Primeval. This is gritty Netflix miniseries set in the American West in 1857. Oh yeah, this one sounds pretty brutal. It follows a mother and son trying to survive in the Utah Territory, which, as you can imagine, was a pretty wild place back then. We're talking conflicts with Native Americans, the US government, and the Mormon Church. So yeah, this one's not for the faint of heart because they're really emphasizing the raw and intense nature of the show. And it also sounds like they're not holding back on depicting the violence and hardships of that era. That brings us to number 3, Adolescence, a British crime drama. Now this one's pretty intense, dealing with the arrest of a 13-year-old boy for murder. But it's not just about the crime itself. It's about exploring the influence of online subcultures, particularly the whole incel phenomenon. This sounds like a really tough but important topic to tackle, and it's going to be fascinating to see how they delve into the psychological and social factors that lead a young person down such a dark path. This show is also filmed in a single take, which is a really interesting creative choice, as it'll definitely add to the intensity and make it feel even more real. Coming in at number 2, we have the return of one of our favorites, Severance, Season 2. You know that show that really messed with our minds? That whole concept of having your work memories completely separated from your personal memories? Creepy, but brilliant. And it sounds like Season 2 is going to continue to peel back the layers of Lumon Industries and their sinister secrets. You know, who's really pulling the strings? And what's the true purpose of the severance procedure? I'm really curious to see how Mark's investigation unfolds now that he's starting to connect the dots between his work life and his outside life. That whole blurring of boundaries between work and personal life is such a relevant theme for today's world, and Severance really taps into that in a unique and unsettling way. And finally, at number 1, we have Daredevil, Born Again. The show follows the return of Matt Murdock a few years after the events of the original series. And they're bringing in Kingpin too, which means we're in for some serious fireworks. It's going to be interesting to see where both characters are at in their lives, and how their dynamic has evolved. It sounds like they're going to be exploring themes of identity and redemption, which makes sense given everything both characters have been through. You know, can Daredevil really hang up the mask? And can Kingpin ever truly escape his criminal past? Big questions. And I'm sure they'll give us plenty to think about as we watch these two iconic characters come at each other. Alright guys, that's my roundup of the top 7 series you need to watch right now in 2025. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, then please be generous with the subscribe and like buttons.